What's up, YouTube? It's Eliminator night. We're gonna start off with the Eliminator, and then I'll tell you where I got the idea from. It's not my idea. I kind of heard someone talking about it, and I was like, I want to try that. We're gonna do it in a Superflex after the Eliminator. And all the camp news is gone. What are we gonna do with ourselves? I kept checking Twitter today, wanting to see who sprained their ankle or who was sitting out or who Ben Johnson was mad at now. We don't have anything this week. What's up, Doc? Good to see you here. I saw the shout out you gave me over in Cody's stream too. I appreciate that, man. I really do. Um I'm gonna jump in an eliminator. We have not drafted an eliminator in a couple of days, and I gotta get my eliminator feel. 30-second clock if anyone wants to do it. In five, four, three, two, one. I don't have it on a computer where I could share it yet. What's up, Pooh? But I've been looking over. It's actually he's in here, so shout out to Who Hames. It's his chart from his Discord where he has like the top first 6 weeks or whatever laid out. And over the last, let's say, week or so, when I have some free time, I've really kind of been looking at it. And there's a few things that popped out at me as far as like I think can't say I'll do it the rest of the summer, but I want to play around with. There's a few teams in particular I really want to target in the eliminator based on what I saw in their first 6 week games. And then there's a few teams that I actually am going to purposely stay away from. The ones that I'm targeting, one of them is a particular player you guys already know, James Conner. I just feel like when you look at his first 6 weeks, he just has like a super, super easy schedule for running backs. Arizona likes to run the ball a lot. So he's definitely somebody I've already been targeting in the eliminator. Atlanta kind of jumped out at me. I like Atlanta in any format though. Let me quit lying. Y'all know how I am about Bijan. They have a nice schedule overall. They are on a bye week 5, so that would be the one thing to kind of worry about. Carolina, I liked what I saw on their schedule. From what I don't have them written down, but from what I remember, it was games where I felt like they kind of have to be throwing, maybe playing from behind, teams pushing them. The Giants have a nice schedule. Yeah, I see that. San Francisco has a nice schedule. And then New Orleans and the Jets. Now, New Orleans, you might be like, well, they're not going to be any good this year. But if you look at some of their games, they're really not that bad of games. And both the Jets and New Orleans have 4 of the first 6 games at home, which was kind of interesting to me. Teams always play better at home. There's a few teams on the other side that I want to maybe try to stay away from, I think, and see how the teams go. Cincy being one of them. I mean, notoriously, Mark was talking to me about it the other day, which I kind of already knew. Since he hasn't really started that hot the last couple of years, last year in particular, they started just really bad, you know, and they have games at Cleveland, at Denver, just 2 good defenses. Probably not, games that's going to be super shootout type games. Denver, I think, could have a very elite defense this year. Waiting on 6, by the way. Y'all go ahead and hop in this 30-second eliminator. Let's do an eliminator together. They have 4 of their first 6 on the road. Talking about Cincy. Now you know if Last year they started really, really slow. Now we got 4 of 6 on the road, including tough games. I don't know. I think in the eliminator, I want to maybe kind of stay away from them a little bit. Detroit, they had the the more I really think about it, I don't think I'm that in on Detroit. Like maybe we think we should be. I mean, yes, it's coaches, but you lost a really damn good offensive coordinator. You lost your defensive coordinator. Your center just retired. Your best guard went somewhere else. They got games at Baltimore and at Kansas City, including like Cincinnati, the first 4 of 6, all being on the road. So I think, especially in the eliminator, I'm gonna maybe somewhat try to stay away from them. Who else do I have on my list? Tampa. Everybody loves Tampa. I love Tampa, but 3 of their first 6 games are against teams that I think will have really good defenses this year. At Houston, they play the Jets, they play Philly. They're one that I'm not saying for sure I'm not going to draft, but I definitely want to kind of keep that in mind, I think. And then Tennessee, I could see them starting out a little slow, rookie QB and all. And they have two, especially their pass game or their run game for that matter. They have, I think that Denver and Houston could very well be the two of the best defenses, and especially against the pass. I mean, between Stingley in Denver's corner. Denver drafted the other guy, the Barron out of Texas. He's going to be in the secondary making plays. They were already a pretty good defense. Tennessee has both of them, both on the road within the first 6 games. So they're another one that just, I don't know, kind of jumped out at me as a team. Maybe in the eliminator, I want to stay away from a little bit. If it doesn't feel, we can jump out of it. I like 30-second clocks. There's been a couple times where I was in 20-second clocks and I get to talking about a certain point or something and just feel a little rushed. I'll give it a couple more minutes. There's 5 more spots. You guys could hop on in it. That would make it feel easier. If it doesn't though, we can always jump out and hop back in a 20-second one. What's up, Mark? Good to see you here. I saw your Giants comment earlier. Since he already came out and said they are going to play starters in the preseason and try to not start slow. All right, I'll keep that in mind. I'm gonna have. I mean, if I get 101, I'm still probably taking Chase. It's more so, which I haven't really been that into drafting Burrow. I can't ever get him to fall to that 6-7 turn, or at least I haven't yet. But if he does, then I'll take him. New England is pretty awesome launch schedule as well. I'll have to look back over them. They didn't really jump out on paper to me, but I could have missed it. And if I didn't call out a team, that doesn't mean that I'm out on them. That means like they're definitely a team that I would draft. It was easier with the 4 of them that I feel like I want to be out on. I mean, honestly, like out of all the rest other than those 4, there was definitely like a lot more than the 6 teams that I just named that I could have put on the list. But what about Dallas? I'd have to go look at it. You know what? While we're waiting on this to fill up, give me just a second. I'm gonna pull Who Hames list up here. I have it saved over here on my other computer. Let's look at Dallas. Mark says Dallas. Are you thinking we should be super in or super out on Dallas? In general, I'm super in on Dallas this year. See, I think what scared me about Dallas was they have some games that should be pretty easy, like the Giants and Carolina, but they also have 4 of their first 6 on the road. At Philly, at Chicago, at New York, and then the Carolina game is on the road also. I think that's probably what made me. we're going to go ahead. If you are in that draft waiting for it to fill, I am going to go ahead and hop out of it. I should have listened to the great Nostradamus Huhames and not wasted our time. The man really knows underdog like the back of his hand, and he tried to tell me that it wasn't going to fill. I prefer it, but we'll hop in a 20-second one. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. See if we can't get a little better luck. And his snap filled just like that. So if you didn't get in, I'm sorry. Not going to try two tabling right off the bat tonight. I tried it last night and it turned out to be a disaster with the team that I didn't have on stream. Yeah, so I don't know. With the Dallas thing, it's like I think I'm just kind of maybe slightly, I'm still going to take CD Lamb if CD Lamb's at a good spot for me to draft in the Eliminator. I'll still take Pickens. These definitely aren't like set in stone things either. Let's say that right off the bat. It's more so just I don't know. And of course, I'm at 32 eliminator teams and I plan on having somewhere in the neighborhood of 70 to 100. I'm not sure where I'll stop. Ooh, Bijan at the 101. I was fully expecting. I'm gonna go Jamar Chase. We're gonna stick to what we just said. I mean, Justin Jefferson. I know. Who Haim says that since he's playing their starters in the preseason, Minnesota does have the week 6 bye, I believe it is. When is their bye week? Yeah, week 6. We'll try to make sure that none of our other receivers have week 6 bye weeks. They have a game against Cincinnati. They have a game at home against Cincinnati, at home against Atlanta. They do play 3 on the road, Chicago, Pittsburgh, and Cleveland. At least the Pittsburgh and Cleveland games and Chicago game, for that matter, should be nice weather. Maybe we should have went with Jefferson. Part of it was we had a lot more Jefferson. I mean, part of it was we had a lot more Chase I saw in the Eliminator. These are my Eliminator percents. I fresh loaded it before we started. And I had a lot more Chase. I guess I've gotten my fair share of 101s than I did Jefferson. So we figured we'd mix it up. I really wanted Bijan. I was assuming the 101 would take him. Huhaim's gotten this one with us. He started Neighbors and BTJ. I like that start. Nothing wrong with it. So I talked about at the very beginning in the open that I'm going to do a Superflex next and I'm going to try something different. And I said it wasn't my idea. Hames, it was actually listening to your stream today and you were talking about how you don't recall seeing either anyone or much. I was driving and listening, so I might have missed the exact quote, but basically you were saying that you haven't seen anybody try a true, zero RB build in the Superflex. And you guys know me. I think outside the box and I like trying different things. And I'm not a by the books drafter. I think BBG would classify me as the right wing slappy if I got my right and left wings correct. And I don't know if it's going to be as gross as you were describing, because I think you were saying wait like super late and then take like 10 running backs or something like that, or 9. I don't remember exact words. You can say it. Sladen in my third draft 100% tried it and it felt gross. I think I might do a variant, and it depends on the draft. If I'm not going to go out of my way to make it happen, but like if the picks in the first few rounds, I kind of got an idea of how I want to do it based upon where I'm at in the draft. We're gonna try it though. It sounded interesting. We kind of planned on doing a Superflex and an Eliminator tonight, anyways. So we're gonna give it a whirl. I think we want to go with Wilson here. Week 9 bye, so we want to make sure we don't get another week 6 bye. I don't know if I really want to do that. I'm gonna go Rushy. 3 receivers start in the Eliminator, not always the best. I think I can get me a couple running backs still that we really like, though. Tomorrow night, guys, we have Chris the Candyman. He will be on the channel. I'm not sure if he's going to be on for 2 or 1. It'll be up to him. We always draft 2 drafts, almost always. If he wants to hang around for the second, he knows he's welcome to. I'll have to see kind of time he has. We'll start with the BBM. For the most part, that's just kind of been my thing this year, especially if you're another streamer the first time you come on my channel. I like to, make it worth your while, do a BBM. Then down the road we can get into some other contests. I don't know if I'm gonna do. I was just talking with Mark the other day. I don't think myself I'm gonna do many BBMs. I don't think I'm gonna do any BBMs other than BBMs that I stream with people. It's just not a contest I want to be on, honestly. I and I do want to do like a handful of sprints. I did the 7 sprints for the little promo deal they had. I did one of them live while Hartman was streaming one. I think that was last Friday night. And then the others I got going slow right now. I never done a sprint before. So most of them I wanted to do slow this first round and kind of really be able to, you know, think through my picks a little bit. Later on this summer, we'll stream some of the sprints. For that one, I'm worried. I'm trying to get some nice stacks and stuff, but I'm also just kind of focusing on teams that I think have like a really nice playoff schedule overall. It says Slayton started 4 wide receivers, 3 quarterbacks, then going RB, felt fine, but he stopped at 7. Maybe that's where they messed up. We're going to try it. We'll see. Doc says he's tried it and he didn't love it. We need to get us some running backs. Speaking of running backs, it's a few guys we wouldn't mind grabbing here. They took Kamara. We was kind of wanting him. I like Joe Mixon. We're not going to pass up on Mixon. DK Metcalf and Williams. Do we want to go with Walker or Kittle? It's tough. You know what? We'll hit the Walker pick. Walker's my guy this year, guys. Like me some Walker. Feeling pretty good now about it. JJ, Wilson, Rasheed Rice. Figured we could get two running backs we liked there at the 4-5, and it worked out. We got Mixon and Walker. Got to have some running backs in the eliminator that you can count on early, that's for sure, or you will find yourself out of this tournament rather quickly, I believe. Let's do like that. Oh, wait, we already got that one. Number 5, like out a minute. What you talking about, dog? Doesn't matter if it looks nice on June 16th, though. Zero running back is my favorite strategy in any format. It used to be mine because I had a ton of success with it 2 years ago. And then last year I said, you know what? I don't need your stinking Barkley in the second round. And I went probably a little too extreme zero RB and probably a little too many drafts. And overall, it wasn't near as good a year as it was the year before that. This year, I think I'm trying to be more balanced. I think I'm trying to be opened. I think I'm doing the best job I've ever done at just being open to all types of builds this year. I've really not been going into any draft. Well, with the exception of like I said, okay, I want to try something different tonight in the Superflex. That's one thing. When was Jefferson week 6? Okay, we could get Rome. It's week 5. Then we could come back with him. Yeah, let's do that. We're going to go Rome here. And I think the running back that I want in this spot, hopefully he'll still be there. And then we'll be feeling pretty good about the team. Next go around, we might start thinking about a QB. Fantasy Dog, are you talking about Walker being out? I know he has a little ankle thing, but I'm not really worried about that in June if that's who you're talking about. I did not catch that. I'll go look in a minute. I'm going to go Judkins. I've been really super into Judkins in the Eliminator. I probably should slow down some, but I just really like him in the 70s. Justin Herbert. Somebody really likes Herbert. Let's see what else he did. He took Genty at 8, Ladd, Marv, Ted, Devontae. I guess he really wanted Ladd and Justin in the Eliminator. He could have got him several rounds later, though. And you guys always said us DK guys didn't know what we were doing. He's got a badge. I think Walker is my limit as far as waiting for my RB1. Maybe Connor. Yeah, Star Method probably got him. Star Method got me on that second draft when I was trying to multi-table last night. Yes, DK is a wild place. You don't have to tell me. It was a joke. I lived there before about a month ago. And it is. Whereas one thing I'm noticing here is it does seem like on Underdog, the drafts can definitely be a lot more predictable as far as like, guys kind of going for the most part where they should. Of course, as we say that, this guy took Herbert in the 6th round in an eliminator. But in general, it's a lot more consistent guys going where you expect them to go. The pockets, I think, are a little more consistent. You see runs of QBs and runs of running backs or whatever in kind of about the same places. Whereas DK, it's literally like every night that you go into a draft, it's a whole new world. Never know what you're going to get. I will say one thing that I'm really liking. We could try to push Fields and hope that the guy in the corner doesn't take him, because I think there's a better chance that he takes the running back that I really want here also. Because he has JSN, Devontae, and he could be trying to set up a golf thing. We're going to get Scat first. There's a couple quarterbacks in front of him on the board. We really want to get Fields. If not, McCarthy can be an option. Caleb can be an option a little later. We played it kind of nice. I figured there was a better chance that he would take Scatterboo. So we went with him. 1-4-4, Fields, Mixon, Walker, Judkins, Scat. Receiver room is Jefferson, Wilson, Rice, Rome. I'm liking the team so far. We don't have any overlapping buys at our receiver spot. We don't have any overlapping buys at our running back spot. Liking what we got going so far. What Hoodoo over there? Neighbors and BTJ. Then he went with Hall and Cook, Jennings, Montgomery, Diggs, Mooney. It's a nice squad. He's got some stuff going. But back to what I had started to talk about. What I'm noticing is that with 18 round drafts on Underdog, while yes, you leave the draft most of the time. I feel like if you're drafting a team correctly, if you're drafting a team that really has a shot to win it all, there's probably going to be a position group that you either need some things to go right for or you just feel a little iffy about. But I really feel like it makes me at least kind of focus more than on DraftKings in a way, because we only have the 18 picks. I find that I'm like really trying to plan out my draft several rounds ahead. I did it on DK too, but it's like on DK, you got the extra picks, whatever. If you get a little too far behind at receiver, just take 9 of them and make it up in volume. Same thing with running backs. Whereas you can't really do that as easily with just the 18 picks. So I do feel like it actually makes me concentrate a little more and kind of think stages of the draft out a little more. Star method making a sandwich. Who needs to relax on DK, do some of the smaller tourneys. Let's see what we want to do here. It's getting back to us. We definitely want some more quarterbacks, and I am not afraid to take them unstacked. Caleb's already off the board too, though. We're going to grab Bateman here first. I want as many pieces of the Ravens offense as I can get my hands on this year. Quarterbacks are kind of starting to fly. We better grab us one more right now. Let's grab Dak. I'm okay having unstacked guys like Dak in the Eliminator. Of course, we wouldn't ideally like to do it in regular tournament. And we don't have to have him unstacked. We could also put Ferguson on there still if need be down the road. I've got a free entry into the 20 millionaire best ball. I'm going to do a slow draft, just waiting as long as I can through training camp to fire it. It's not a bad idea. Have you seen some of the teams I posted from DK? No, where did you post them at in your Discord? I need to go over and look at it. I'll go look at them. I should probably be on Discords more than I am. I just don't have time. I'm always so busy during the day, and I try to catch as many people's streams as I can. Most of the time, just listening to it, not really necessarily watching it. Discord, though, you actually got to go in and make an effort to go in and read some stuff. And I really am, guys. I'm pretty damn busy from the time we get up to generally about 8:30 or so, 9. Now my oldest daughter's got me watching a show with her on Netflix right now every night before my stream, and she's like obsessed with it. It's a pretty good show. I don't know. It's an older one. We don't really watch much of the new stuff on regular TV. We just catch it when it comes on Netflix. But I don't know if you guys ever saw Blind Spot back in the day, the show with the lady with all the tattoos and stuff. We're about 5 or 6 episodes in. We just started it a week ago. It's pretty good so far though, but she's like obsessed with it. So pretty much every night. It's kind of like a win-win for me because she wants to make sure that we have time to watch it before my streams start. So like she already helps out a lot around the house. She's a really good girl, but she's been like extra on it, making sure she like helps wash the dishes after dinner, beats me to feeding the dogs, which normally is one of the things that I do. She wants to make sure we have time to watch it. So win-win situation. Let's see. Our quarterbacks are Dak and Fields. 4 running backs. The other guy could use a tight end, so we might go ahead and grab Berg. Or we could just go ahead and grab Penix too. Let's grab Ferguson first. That way we'll at least have Dak stacked up. If he doesn't grab Penix, which he didn't, we're going to go ahead and grab him for a third QB. I like that QB room for the Eliminator. Fields, Dak, Penix. Could we make Kyle Pitts one of our tight ends? Would I? Could I? Should I? No, you shouldn't, but I still do sometimes. Oh, Doc, you wanna hear something funny? So, my kids used to mess with me because, I have the 3 daughters, and they're all within 3.5 to 4 years of each other. And back in the day, not we don't anymore, but back in the day when they were a lot younger, we had the van with, the TV in it and everything so they could watch their kid movies and stuff while we're driving around everywhere. And they used to mess with me because I had so many. This is before I got really into, this is probably 4 or 5 years ago, 6 years ago, over a course of a few years, so I wasn't really best ball content wasn't even around, so I definitely wasn't listening to best ball content, but they used to give me a hard time because I never really saw many of the movies, but I knew, like, every damn word to their favorite movies just from driving around so much with them in the car, and it'd be playing. And then it was always kinda interesting to me because, you when you just hear something, you formulate kind of a picture in your head of what's really going on in that scene, and then sometimes I would see him around the house watching the movie, and I'd just be like, "That is not how I expected that scene to be going." But in my head, I had, like, this certain vision of how it was playing out because I've heard it 100 times driving around over the last year. Those were good times. What are we working with here? We got our 3 quarterbacks, we're done there. I like that running back room. Mixon, Walker, Judkins, Scat. We'll add some more. Receiver room is nice and strong. JJ, Wilson, Rice, Rome, Bateman, Ferguson at tight end. If he comes back, we may just have to add him. Let me see. 70, 91. I don't think so. Yeah, sure. Why not? We need a second tight end anyways. The best ball overlay is not liking to show my stuff right tonight, so we will refresh it. There we go. All right, we got at least a skinny stack with all of them. I'm gonna take. No, we don't want to do that. Yeah, we do. We'll take him. Miles Sanders. If this was not an eliminator, I wouldn't have picked him. There was two other guys that I like as my late round running backs on the board, but it is the eliminator, and there is a world in which we roll into weeks 1 through 6 of the regular season, or weeks 1 through whatever, as long as this team is alive. And there's a world where Miles Sanders is getting a lot of snaps for the Dallas Cowboys. And I was just having this conversation with, well, I was just texting with Mark actually today about how I think running back is kind of the one position where sometimes if you're going solely off how good a player is, talent, you can miss out on some things, right? Like it's the one position that like a guy doesn't have to be a really good talent. We've seen times before where a guy who's not necessarily a really good talent, just because he has opportunity at the running back spot for his team, he can be a very productive fantasy football player, at least, especially in best ball where we don't need him to do it every week. But when he has a good week, we can take advantage of it. We were talking about, or we were texting about Roshan Johnson. the guy I've been trying to grab a lot of lately. But I think the same can be said for Miles Sanders that there could very much be an opportunity, him or the other guy, right? Javonte Williams or Miles Sanders. Neither one of them, I think, are pretty good NFL running backs at this point, or not guys that I would be excited about drafting for their talent purpose. But that being said, unless they bring somebody else in, Blue isn't handling a huge workload. One of those two guys probably ends up kind of being the starter and getting the majority of the work over the other, with Blue mixing in as kind of the explosive guy. Oh, don't get me started on Frozen, Mark. That was one I didn't really care for. That damn movie got on my nerves. Let it snow. Let it snow. I used to get on my kids' nerves because when that song came on, I would always say, let it snow. I can't take this movie any longer. Mm. I don't know what I want to do here. I might go D Hop. I'm going to go D Hop. I keep saying that I want as much of the Ravens offense as I can get. I knew I already had Bateman. So, other than Flowers, now we have probably two of their top three receivers. Maybe they kind of ping pong for me. We might have to leave this team at 5 running backs because it's kind of getting to that point where I don't really want to take any of said running backs that are left. We're going to grab Johnson as a tight end. That'll be our third tight end. We'll probably grab one more receiver, make it a seventh receiver, or maybe running back. We ideally, number wise, we probably should go running back. Although none of my running backs have the same buys, so essentially, I should have 4 of them always available. Our receiver room is strong though. JJ, Wilson, Rice, Rome, Bateman, and Hopkins. Well, let's be honest. The top 4 are really strong, and then we have 2 Ravens, which we're hoping to get 1 week out of, 1 score each week out of. So maybe we can just tack on. There'll probably be a receiver I like with a late 18th round pick versus a running back that I like, would be my guess. Tight end room, Ferguson, Pitts, and Janu. Pitts, we're kind of just hoping he has a couple good spike weeks early for us. Maybe that Tampa game, maybe the Arizona game, Rams game, all games that should be kind of, somewhat higher scoring games, we would think. So then if he doesn't, and if Ferguson doesn't do much, maybe Janu can Jawan. I don't know why. I always call Jawan Johnson Janu for some reason. I do that a lot. I know better. Yeah, that's what I was trying to say today. Now with running backs, especially receivers, not the case, right? Because yes, a receiver because of injuries or whatever might get on the field and might be running routes. A perfect example of that is the Houston Texans last year. Hutchinson ran a crap ton of routes. Mechie was out there running around. They did not get the ball thrown to him that often because they could not get open, and they didn't really have much production at all. But at the running back spot, it's way easier to just get the ball, go through the hole. You have to be in somewhat NFL level running back. This might actually kind of work out. One reason why my Keenan Allen percentage is so high, 32, is because one, I think Keenan Allen's good at football, and I've been playing it as though he's going to sign. And one of my favorite landing spots is actually hoping that he goes to the Jets. This team would work out really nice if he did. We would have a nice little Fields and Allen and Wilson stack. But hopefully Keenan just goes somewhere. We finished with the 3-5-7-3. We like the quarterback room. Fields, Stack, Penix. Running back room, we feel good enough about, especially since none of them have the overlapping buy or anything. Mixon, Walker, Judkins, Scatterboo, Miles Sanders. Receiver room, J.J. Wilson, Rice, Rome, Bateman, D-Hop, Keenan Allen. Kind of gets dusty there and old at the end, but hopefully they'll give us some usable weeks early. It is an eliminator. Ferguson, Pitts, and Johnson as my tight ends. Let's see what was going on over in Whoville. 3-6-7-2. Drake May, Jordan Love, Russ Wilson. Running backs Hall, Cook, Demont, Dowdle, Lloyd, and Jaquez Hunter. Receivers, Neighbors, BTJ Jennings, Diggs, Mooney, Dobbs, Adonai Mitchell, tight end, Ingram, and Kraft. I'd be interested to hear what you think of this team. I feel like I definitely have seen you draft teams that I like a lot better. I like I like Hall and Cook for sure. Maybe it's just I'm not big on a lot of the guys. Like I'm not really that into Montgomery this year. Probably should be. I like your receiver room a lot. I like Neighbors, BTJ, Jennings. I draft a lot. Diggs, Mooney. Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying it's a bad team. Don't get me wrong. You'll very rarely see me unless I just really think it is. But most people who draft with me and watch my streams, I tend to think they're pretty good drafters. Russell Wilson being an eliminator, he's the better pick over Dart. I agree there. I don't know. I'm just curious what you would think because I see you draft some really good teams. Like I definitely think you know what you're doing for sure. All right, guys. We're going to go try my little Superflex out now. If anybody wants to jump in it, we'll try the 30 seconds because I think I do prefer them a little bit. If it's not filling, we'll hop out and switch. 30-second Superflex. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I like to count it down for you guys since there is a little delay. Ooh. You know what? Abort, abort, abort. We still need a whole lot of people in this, so we will jump out of this one and we will try the 20-second one. I'll wait a second before I count down and try to jump in that one. But it still needed 10 and it is a 30 seconds, so it's probably going to take a while to fill. Let's try that again. I'll give you guys a couple seconds to get out. This time we will go with the 20-second Superflex. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We are entering. 7 people, but the 20s always do tend to fill up faster. Yeah, Doc, I know you're in that world right now. You got all the kid movies memorized. It gets better though, man. Like I was just talking about, it's kind of cool now. I actually enjoy watching the stuff more. Like my oldest daughter, especially, like I'm busier during the day with my younger 2 daughters, so that's kind of become. She stays up later than her younger sisters, and so whenever they go to bed, we kind of this summer said we were gonna. I was told her that we could start watching some shows and stuff together, and I let her pick what she wants. And I've actually enjoyed that little Blindside show that she picked so far. It's pretty interesting. It's worth a watch if you're into actiony, suspensefully type stuff like that. What other kind of banners we got? I know I put some more. Oh, so we're gonna do it a little different. Instead of just the like, I don't want to go through the hassle of tweeting and then if people miss it or not. I do want to do a subscriber night. I told you guys that I am, always willing to have people on here. You don't have to be a streamer. You just have to be okay being on camera. For all of my subscribers, I don't know if we'll do it at every 100 this summer. We might do something different at 200. But for 100, if you're interested, go and follow me on Twitter and send me a DM and just let me know that you're interested. My DMs are open. Anyone can send me one. And whenever I hit 100 subscribers out of the people who said that they'd be okay coming on a stream, I'm going to draw a name out of a hat on stream for you guys, and that person will get to come on. We'll do a couple drafts together, just like when we have any other guest. One of them, we will make sure it's a BBM and try to win $2 million together. And then the other draft, I'll probably let them pick out of whatever little fun contest are out at the time, whether it be a Superflex or a puppy or whatever they got going on. Fantasy Dog jumped in this one with us. I don't recognize any of the other names, but you could be in here. From the 10 spot, that might be a good spot to try my thing I was just telling you guys about. We're going to see if we can do it. I heard Who Hames talking about it on stream today. Taking Burrow at the 5, nothing wrong with that in the super flex. Let's go. Now I see that you said you were in there. I noticed it before I saw it. But he was talking on his stream today about how he's drafted a lot of these. I don't know what he's up to, but he's up to quite a bit of them. And he hasn't seen anybody to date really try a true, just like zero RB ish type build because we want to grab up all these running backs so early. Now, I say that if they leave my boy Bijan, we might have to wait and do it a different time. Okay, there he goes. Bijan's gone. But we won't mind a Jefferson share. So the plan would be to go Jefferson, maybe Puka if he comes back. And then I'll do my thing that I always do from this spot where I grab the two position players. Our next three picks will be quarterbacks. Hopefully, the front end of the board will be nice to me. It's kind of 50-50 in that fifth round. Sometimes you can get like a Cam Wardish or Daniel Jones or somebody like that as your third quarterback. Are we going to get JJ and CD? No, that guy felt the pressure to take a quarterback. That's all right. Nothing wrong with JJ and Puka. That'll allow us to, if it works out, we will take 3 quarterbacks with the next 3 picks. Maybe grab like a tight end in the 6th round or 7th round, whichever one we do not grab a tight end. Probably grab a third receiver, preferably somebody that maybe stacks with one of the said 3 quarterbacks. Let's see, where would that put us at? That would put us at round 8 being the first round that we potentially will look to draft our first running back. And we're going to try to attack the running back room with volume. We'll hit that spot in the draft with it being a super flex where everybody's done drafting quarterbacks and everybody grabbed all their running backs that they want, or at least the running backs that they want early, and then they'll be switching over to receiver and trying to grab up all the receivers. And so hopefully we get a nice little pocket of the later round running backs that we can add enough volume with to make it work. That's the plan. We'll see if we can pull it off. Let's see. Let's see if some music can kind of help. So far, we got some guys on the front end being nice. It works out whenever they don't get too quarterback happy on that front end. Dog, that would be you. Don't take a third here. Dog says he's going to push me out. We always get two that we like. That's why I don't mind doing it. Like I cannot, Superflex or not, I cannot draft Bo Nixon, Baker Mayfield, and Kyler Murray and Drake May over guys like Gibbs and Puka and CMC and Jefferson, especially when I can take those elite running backs and receivers, whoever I want, in the first 2 rounds on this back end. And then I'm still going to get me a Justin Herbert, Trevor Lawrence, CJ Stroud. I'm going to get 2 of those guys more than likely right here. I wanted McCarthy, actually, since we had JJ. We'll go Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence, and hopefully either Penix or CJ comes back to us. If not, we'll take Bryce. Bryce has some nice options later that we like that we can tack on with him. CJ didn't make it. No worries. Or actually, let's go Stafford. He makes a little more sense with this particular team. In a nutshell, I like Bryce over Stafford, but with us having Puka, I know. They both have week 8 buys. We don't worry too much about it. We're going to have at least one other quarterback who doesn't have a week 8 bye, who should be playing in week 8. Worst case, we'll just have to have a wide receiver or running back cover the Superflex that week. It's not the end of the world. I only get 3 straight quarterbacks. Oh, 3 quarterback start. Yeah, I don't get it either. I mean, it's not for me. I don't know if I've ever done it. I feel like you're passing up on so many good position players. And I know the theory behind it. There's a lot of people that do it. I'm definitely not knocking it, Fantasy Dog. Dak made the decision easy for me. Too much upside at QB. And I know why people do it. I mean, your QB room, Burrow, Fields, and Dak Prescott, you are getting a good QB score and probably a good Superflex score every week. And then you still got JT as your first running back. And you can get decent receivers later in the draft with it being Superflex. It's just not for me. I mean, if you build it right, let me ask you, Fantasy Dog, with a start like that, do you just leave it at those three and then you don't even worry about messing with the backup quarterbacks? Because that's what I do over here with the lesser quarterbacks, honestly, if it works out. Like Trevor Lawrence, Matthew Stafford, let's see, as long as I get like Cam Ward or Geno or Tua, one of those three to come back to me, which half the time you do, half the time you don't, then like with those three, well, it wouldn't be Geno because he also has a week 8 bye. But like if Tua or Cam Ward came back, I would, if I added a fourth quarterback, it would be somebody really late, like just a true backup in the 19th or 20th rounds type quarterback. But a lot of times, especially if I have like a Trevor Lawrence and let's say CJ Stroud, and then I got Geno to come back or Ward to come back to me, there's a lot of times where I just leave it with those three and just use the extra bullets at running back and receiver. We're just going to leave it on here a minute. It's getting pretty close, anyways. All we need is one of these guys with two quarterbacks to take Geno, because we don't necessarily want another week 8 bye. We can't have three quarterbacks on a week 8 bye. Hopefully he goes Geno. And hopefully this guy doesn't take Tua, and then we can take Tua. Ooh. Or do we want to push Tua? Everybody on that backside has two quarterbacks. So I feel like if I pushed Tua to go ahead and take Tyreek here, I may be lucky and get Tua back and then would have him stacked. But I feel like with them having no receivers, oh, there goes Tua. It's okay because we had a backup plan with them all having two quarterbacks. There's also a chance that Daniel Jones can come back to us, and we're just okay with that. He doesn't have the week 8 bye. It's looking more and more like AR just is not going to be a thing. We have a hella receiver room with JJ, Puka, and Tyreek. That's still the better play. Like, who would have been the next receiver off the board? I guess there hasn't been a receiver drafted yet, so I guess Devontae could have been there. I could have doubled up Stafford with Devontae if I would have took Tua, but I don't necessarily want Tua unstacked. And there was also a chance that by taking Hill, Tua would have came back to me. I like the way I did it. I'm okay with it. Give me Daniel Jones. He moves around a little more than Tua anyways. Not as huge a risk of concussion taking him out for the whole year, 5 or 6 games or whatever. So far, we're sticking to the plan. We'll see what it looks like. Yes, exactly, with 3 QB start only because of Fields rushing upside. No, I agree. And like for me, I'm not Burrow at 5, and I'm not instantly Burrow at 5. I've taken him at 5 or 6 some, but I also take Chase there some. And I've taken Bijan in this, I think, at like 6 or 7 a couple times. I would have been tempted there to take Chase. And then if it worked out the same, I would have taken Fields. Fields, I'm super high on. I like Dak. I'm super high on Dak this year and the Dallas passing game in general. So I would have had those two. Let's say I would have had Chase, Fields, Dak, I like the JT pick. I'm really high on him this year. I probably would have did that. I like all the players that you're in on. If anything, I probably would have did like JT there, and instead of Cook though, I would have taken like Cam or Geno here. So the difference in our teams would have been I would have had like Chase, Fields, Dak, JT, Geno, because I think I'm Geno over Ward. Whereas you have the Burrows, Fields, Dak, JT, Cook. Both are good. Both are really good teams. You know, that's the beauty of this, right? It's like we all have our different player takes. We all have our different strategies. And honestly, so many of them can hit just depending on injuries and the chaos that is the NFL season. No, we don't need to go tight in there. You guys know I'm not super in on Hunter this year, but we do have Trevor Lawrence, and he is falling a little bit. And just with the way we said we were going to build this team, we'll go ahead and take him. You know, it's nice to have stacks. This is a regular style tournament where we're playing to try to advance out of the playoffs. Are we ready to get in the running back room yet? Round 8 is late enough to be considered a 0 RB start. If Judkins hangs in there, we'll definitely go ahead and get our first running back now, because I am really high on Judkins this year. But he just went. And we don't want to go with that yet. And I just really don't love the other running backs there. We're going to keep adding to that receiver room. I keep telling y'all I'm going to draft as many Ravens as I can all summer long. I think Lamar and that offense is going to be on a mission this year. What is it, 2 years in a row that Lamar missed out on the MVP and arguably could have been the MVP? Put up a much better season overall than Josh as far as just consistency last year. And one thing I was talking about the other night, offense is when you get a new system, right? You get a new coaching staff. In this case, it was just an offensive coordinator. Year one, you can be really good. The Ravens were really good last year. But there's only so much you can do in an off season. There's only so much you can do over the course of the season. So oftentimes, you know, when it's a really, really good offensive coach, of course, it takes the players to make it work. But oftentimes, it's really going into that second, third year. This, in the Ravens' case, it's their second year with Monken. It's really then that you start seeing, you know, all these layers and nuances added to the offense and wrinkles on top of wrinkles added to the offense. And I don't know. I think the Ravens are going to be a team on a mission this year. They're an explosive offense, a really good offense. I looked at it a while back. I haven't looked at it lately, but just because of the fact that they're good in the division they play in too, there's going to be a whole lot of games this year where their schedule at Buffalo, Cleveland, they play Detroit, Kansas City, Houston, the Rams, Chicago, Miami, Minnesota, Cleveland again, Jets, Bengals, Pittsburgh, Bengals, New England, Green Bay. There's so many games in that schedule that are just prime for, you know, shootout type games. I'm going to keep drafting them as much as I can get my hands on them. We have 5 receivers in a Superflex. We could potentially be done. We definitely won't draft more than one more receiver And if we do, it is going to be really, really late. How much can we really push running back? Because we also really like Hawkinson. These guys don't have tight end. If Hawkinson stays on the board, which he just did, we're going to grab him. And then after this, we're going to make probably 4 to 5 picks in a row at the running back spot. We're going to go with Warren as long as he holds, because we know he'll kind of be on the field doing this thing early at least. And then we got some tricks up our sleeve at running back. We may have to reach a little bit on some of the guys just to make sure we feel like we can get them. Try to see if we can't piece together a good enough running back room. Because if we can, we'll talk about it in a minute, but we feel pretty good about the team. But you guys know what's coming. We just drafted Hawkinson. He is the my guy, or one of them. I shouldn't say the one of. But see, if we can piece together this running back room, guys, if we can make it work, we got JJ, Puka, Tyreek Hill, Hunter. Puka and Hunter are stacks with the quarterback. Zay Flowers as our 5th receiver. Come on. Hawkinson holding down the tight end room. It's Superflex. We got 2 quarterbacks we feel pretty decent about. Trevor Lawrence, Stafford. Daniel Jones will be out there doing some stuff. We're not going to look at any other position other than running back for a while. At least the next 3 picks probably, I would say, are going to be in the running back room just to try to start catching up. I feel like these next 2 picks are going to make or break the team. If we get 2 running backs, one of which hopefully like Warren will be a guy that will be in the mix for early season work, because we're going to have a lot of guys on this team that are running backs who might need an injury or whatever to really get on the field. But I feel like these next 2 picks are going to kind of be the make or break picks for us. See if we can land the plane, as they say. I think we may get lucky, guys. I think it might work out. Well, there went one of the guys we were hoping to get. We were hoping Tracy would kind of hold. Both of these guys have 3 running backs. They could get one. Ramondre's the pick here if he's on the board. Henderson may take over at some point. Nice. But Ramondre's going to be out there early, right? He's at least worst case going to be their goal line back. They have some tough games early on. Maybe he gets in the end zone. And then I think we want to reach down a little bit and go with Blue. I don't think Blue will have a huge workload, but I think that Blue will be involved early. And he's got the kind of explosiveness that, he doesn't need a huge workload to give you a decent fantasy score. He can catch a pass and take it to distance or break a long run. We're just trying to piece together some points somehow, some way at the running back spot. Dogs liking this plan. We'll have to go check it out, see how it's doing it, loving it. Oh, my plan is getting foiled, baby. I agree, Doc. I have to say, I'm kind of really feeling this team. I mean, considering how strong my receiver room is, and considering I got Hawkinson holding down the tight end room, we could get some points out of Warren, Ramondre, and Blue. We're still going to probably double tap running back again at the next go around here in a minute. We don't need another quarterback right now. How did it change so quick for you, dog? One comment you said you were feeling it, and then it's getting spoils, he said, or foiled. J-Mo, Godwin, Pollard, Pearsall, Mooney, Shaheed. Oh no, I like a lot of those picks. Who are your quarterbacks again? Dak, Fields, Burrow. Yeah, maybe just didn't work out to where you could get a lot of your good stacks and stuff. I think it's going to be all right, fellas. If we can get things to go a couple of the ways that we want it to right here coming up at this spot, I'm going to like it even better. Everything's going to be all right. Nah. See, 68. How many guys do these guys have? I'm going to pass over some of the other guys that I like to take Roshan, because I am starting to really think that he is just going to have the David Montgomery role. That is who me and Mark were actually texting about today when I was like, you should look into him more, or you should be willing to take him in the 160s. And he was like, well, he just doesn't pass the eye test to me. He's not a good runner. Oh, I was really hoping White was going to come back too. Let's go Dowdle. Let's go Rico Dowdle. All right, we're catching up a little more, guys. Warren, Ramondre, Blue, Roshan, Dowdle. I think it's going to work. JJ, Puka, Tyreek, Hunter, and Flowers. Hawk. I mean, we got 3 starting quarterbacks. Say what you want about them. They're not the strongest. If Cohen is the great offensive mind that everybody thinks he is, then hopefully he can get a little more out of Trevor Lawrence. Seems like they kind of want Hunter out there most of the time running routes at least. I think we're going to be all right. I wanted my usual Smith Andrews combo, didn't get it either. Who Hames? Was just talking about it, man. Let's go check the team out. I think we're making it work, my man. Quarterbacks, we got 3 starters at least. They're not the best, but T-Law, Stafford, and Jones. Running back room, we got some touches. I mean, Warren, Ramondre, Blue, Roshan, Dowdle. But that receiver room, though, JJ, Puka, Hill, Hunter, Flowers. That's a receiver room. We got Hawkinson at tight end, so we should be able to get some nice scores there. I wanted McCarthy instead of... He went one before I could get him, though. If we go back up and look at the top, I was going to actually take McCarthy as my first quarterback because I had JJ, and I'm always willing to take Hawk. But someone grabbed him right before me, so we went with T-Law. We could grab a second tight end and just go ahead and double up. I think I caught up enough at running back that I can make a little detour for a second tight end. Then we'll have Hawkinson and Strange, as long as this guy's only got 1 tight end, though. He's got 2, so pretty decent chance that we get him here. T-Law will be doubled up with Hunter and Strange. I like that. It's got the Indy bring back, too, for what it's worth, with Daniel Jones. Yeah, we got our eyes on a couple guys. We got 1 rookie already, Blue. The pick here is my other newly anointed, not really, just finally got the video made on him. Get into some... Get off me. I just love that last little clip. Just DBs bouncing off of him. Get off me. Hardman, what's up, bro? Good to see you popping in. Thanks, man. We're doing a Superflex, and we got this idea from Who Hames on his stream today. He was talking about people not seeing many people trying a 0 RB in the Superflex. So we tried our version of it, and we're really liking it, actually, man. We started from the 10 spot. Lawrence, Stafford, Jones as the QBs. We didn't take our first running back till Warren, but then we hit him with Warren, Ramondre, Blue, Roshan, Dowdle, DJ Giddens. That receiver room, though, is fire. JJ, Puka, Hill, Hunter, Flowers. Lots of points in that receiver room. Hawkinson and Strange as the tight ends. So we have T-Law doubled up. We have Puka with Stafford. I don't know. I'm feeling the team, kind of, to be honest with you. Ooh, we were kind of hoping Hunter would come all the way back. We would have probably thrown him on there. Somebody take somebody took Miles Sanders already. That was a little early for him. We were going to take Miles Sanders and just have the 2 of the Dallas running backs. Oh, well, no biggie. We like Marshawn Lloyd, too. He'd be a nice little 7th running back for this particular team. Could go Diami as a receiver and triple up Lawrence and just hope that this particular team is eaten because Lawrence is just playing out of his mind. Although we might not, because we kind of have a different receiver in mind for our last receiver. And I think I really want to leave this receiver room at 6 receivers, because those 5 are just nice. And we only got to start 2. Of course, we could start 1 in the flex, and we could start 1 in the super flex. Let's go ahead and take Lloyd. I think we caught up enough, fellas. Warren, Ramondre, Blue, Roshan, Rico, Giddens, Marshawn Lloyd. We can get some scores out of that room. Maybe only 2 good scores a week, but hey, we're getting 3 wide receiver scores easily. I mean, Flowers is our 5th. Hawkinson will still be playing then. I think with our 18th round pick, we're going to go ahead. Well, we were going to throw Ferguson on there, but Ferguson just went. Let's throw Arroyo on there. He's a little bring back for Indies, a bring back for the Rams. He's also out week 8, but we're not really too worried about overlapping buys with our tight end. Come on. We still got Hawkinson there. Hawkinson will be there in week 8. Somewhat freshly rested off his week 6 bye. I like Arroyo a lot. I've been drafting him a fair amount. We may throw one of these guys on here too. Mariota's a guy that I love throwing on just because with with Daniel's playing style, he could get hurt. We've thrown Malik Willis. I don't think it's showing me accurate percentages because I feel like I've drafted Malik Willis a couple times in Superflex. Oh, it's still stuck on Eliminator. I don't know why it does that. I like the best ball overlay overall. I wish it would be a little smoother with updating like it should and being on the right thing. Kirk Cousins is still out there. We're going to grab a quarterback and maybe one more receiver, depending on which quarterback is there. The receiver that we like or we would like to get is Mitchell. Then we'll at least have a little something with Jones. 2-2. I hate that it doesn't show. I guess it's because before we did this draft, what I should have did was it seems like if you don't go and do that extract your teams thing, we'll let that extract. Maybe we can see a little updated percentage. Are we going to get Cousins back here at the very, very back end of the draft? ADP's 190 essentially. And he may be there at 226. Someone took Mitchell from me though. We could always throw Tutu on there with Stafford. Let's take Kirk Cousins. He may end up getting traded somewhere. And we may end up I think that's worthy of a little value hound pick. What do we want to do with the last one? I guess we don't want another backup quarterback. We'll throw Tutu on there. Or we could go with Ray Ray. No, because that's just a bring back for Cousins, though. Let's go Tutu. That could end up being huge for this team, boys. The fact that Cousins was hanging around at pick 226 and we could definitely use a little more firepower at quarterback, especially if he got traded somewhere or just a Penix injury or whatever. 4763 T Law, Stafford, Jones, and Cousins. Running back room: Warren, Ramondre, Blue, Roshan, Rico, Giddens, Marshawn Lloyd. Wide receivers: JJ Puka, Hill, Hunter, Flowers, and we threw Tutu on there at the end. Hawkinson, Strange, and Royo at the tight end spots. I gotta say we accomplished the mission pretty well. I don't know how good it is. A microphone video just dropped today about Kirk Cousins. So you're saying that there's zero chance that Kirk Cousins gets traded? I don't agree with that. He wants to get traded. And I think if there's a team out there that's willing to give up a little bit of anything to get him, then it would definitely probably be something the Falcons would entertain. Amari Cooper gonna play this season. 20th round Cooper seems kind of fun. I don't know, Doc. I agree with a lot of stuff with you. It seems like I can't get there on Cooper. I don't think I've drafted him yet. I mean, he wasn't he wasn't that good in Cleveland last year. He got traded to the Bills. Didn't really seem like he was that good there. I mean, if you can't get it going with Josh Allen, he might just be done, man. Or at least, he might sign somewhere and be on a roster and be running a little bit of routes, but I could be wrong, but he's not a guy that I'm really that into. See you later, who. Thanks for stopping in. Yeah, he was awful last season. His contract is just too monstrous, and Atlanta would have to eat something like 37 million to trade him. I need to look into that. We'll go look into that together here in just a second. But you know what? In this team's particular case, um, I mean, the guys that I took him literally in the 19th round, like 30 something picks past ADP. His ADP normally is like up here in round 16. The only guys I would have taken if he wasn't there are guys like Mariota, Malik Willis, Rudolph. All of the guys back here are pure backups, anyways. And of all of the pure backups that go in the 19th and 20th round, Cousins is definitely the better quarterback, I feel like. Let's uh let's go look that up together. Well, hold on. Before we do that, first things first, let me find my boy Fantasy Dog, and then I want to go look into this cap stuff. Fantasy Dog went with the 4-4-9-3. Burrow, Fields, Dak, Milrow. You know I like Milrow pick. That just gave the team a little up in the grade right there. Although with that particular quarterback room, honestly, me, like if I had Burrow, Fields, and Dak, that is the type of team that I probably would have left Milrow off of, honestly. Just because, like he would not only have to start playing, but I mean, just be way better than even I think he can be to probably give you scores over those three or two of those three. JT, Cook, Kamara, and Pollard. I mean, it's good, but it's thin. I don't know. I'm not gonna lie. I'm scared to only go with four running backs in any type of build. They would have to be like probably four of my first five picks or something like that. I don't know. Maybe that was though. J-Mo, Godwin, Pearsall, Mooney, Shaheed, Thielen, Yosivas, MVS, Turpin, Ferguson, Sanders, Mason, Taylor. I'm curious. I'm curious why you went with the four running backs and the nine receivers. I mean, I know you started a little late, but J-Mo and Godwin and Pearsall and Mooney. Maybe I'm super high on Shaheed more than I should be. I have 28% of him. So yeah, I'm pretty high on him. You know what? At one, two, three, four, five. With those five, I think you easily could have kept it at like a 6 or 7 wide receiver room. I'm also curious where you took Milrow. Yeah, I think personally, if you would have maybe like not taken Milrow there and grabbed, whoever your best favorite out of the backups, Allen might play some even without a Hall injury. If you're into Shipley, if you're into Wright, you could have pulled him up there. I don't know. It could work. I think it's thinner than I would like to be at running back, and that's just something that sticks out on that particular team. As much as I like Milrow, I think maybe if you would have instead of that pick took a fifth running back, at least gave you a little more depth. The type of guys that were there right there too, like Shipley or even Allen or Wright. Those three guys if the starters get hurt on their team, especially Shipley, but I draft a crap ton of Shipley, then that could have been like not only a fifth running back for depth, but you could for a few games if Barkley's out with a little sprained ankle or something, you could end up having, a real smash back there. Appreciate your review. I knew I was going to take Milrow because I loved my other spots and had a plan at tight end. Uh-oh, plan at tight end. Did I mess your plan up? Did I take Aurora on this team? I think I did, didn't I? Was that your plan where you're gonna try to take Milrow with Arroyo? And I probably messed that up for you then? I don't know. It could work. I mean, if all five if the four running backs you have are healthy, they're good, damn good running backs, and you got the quarterback firepower. One thing I always try to ask myself is what do I win with a particular build or team or player or whatever it is? What do we win when we win, right? I mean, that's not my saying. I know y'all have heard that other places, but I love the saying, and I'm always trying to ask myself that. And like Milrow, I love throwing on particular types of builds where like if I'm right about Milrow and if he's doing it, because he's not going to take the league by storm, right? Like he is really raw as a passer. And so when he gets on the field, we're hoping that he's just completing enough passes to where when he's also running around with his legs, gets some TDs here and there, he can hit your lineup late in the season with some nice scores here and there. But a particular team with, Burrow, Fields, and Dak, I just personally don't. As much as I like Milrow, I don't see him once we get past week 10 and you have all three of your quarterbacks. I don't see him scoring better than two of those three each week. He'd essentially have to score better than two of the three to hit your super flex. And so I just think that that would have been a real easy spot with that team where you could have not gone with him, kept it like I think you said earlier in the draft that was your plan, just to stick with those three. And then that fifth running back would have just went, I think, a long way to giving you a little more depth at running back. If you really wanted to just add a fourth quarterback, you could have always, did it. And well, these guys all kind of stack though. But this MVS pick wouldn't have been needed if you didn't have Milrow. So then instead of MVS, you could have maybe even tacked on another running back and had six. Then it could have been like a 3-6-8-3. I think is how that would have turned out. I want to go look real quick. I'll flip it over to the page in a minute for y'all. Mark is saying that Cousins cap is untradeable, and I haven't heard anything about that. Dead money. All right, let's look at it. In 2025, so basically if they cut him this year, dead money plus cap savings. So it's also fully guaranteed. He received $50 million signing bonus, yada yada. Cash due, running cash. Cap numbers, salary guarantees. So his salary was guaranteed over the life of a contract, $50 million. It's really not that bad, Mark, if you're hanging around. I mean, I've seen teams do worse. Cap wise, it would be a huge hit this year. But teams aren't going to necessarily be that worried about the cap. What teams are, especially this year, because they're not going out signing a bunch of free agents at this point. The money that they would have to eat, I believe, is the guaranteed salaries. I don't know. Sometimes these over the cap things can be confusing. I'm going to go with good old Chat GPT on this one. Let's ask Chat. How much money would the Falcons have to eat if they trade Kirk Cousins? Let's see what Chat says about it. What could go wrong, right? Well, it's after June 1st. After June 1st, 2025, Falcons pay 12.5 dead cap in 25 plus 25 million in 26, but they would save 27 million off of his base salary. If they cut him, which they won't cut him, if they cut him, that's when it gets super expensive. If they cut Cousins, then they would have 40 million that they'd have to eat in dead money in 25 this year. They'd also have 25 million in dead cap next year. They would get essentially no cap savings out of it. So they're definitely not going to cut him, which why would they cut him anyways? I mean, he's probably the best backup in the league if they keep him as just a backup. But I think trading him is definitely in the cards. I mean, You're telling me if someone offers him someone really wants a quarterback, maybe there's an injury in the preseason, somebody really wants a quarterback, maybe the Saints decide we don't want to be the worst team in the league this year, and so they trade for him. I haven't heard them lately, but I've heard many rumblings about Minnesota being maybe a little interested. Maybe we get to camp and they're not really that into McCarthy. Somebody offers the Falcons, let's say, a third or fourth round pick. I think they would do it. They're only going to eat 12 million this year, but this year's over with anyways. They're not going out signing a $12 million free agent at this point. They would have 25 million in dead cap next year, but they would end up saving 27 million off of the total base money. I definitely think they could end up doing it. Definitely think it. What's up, guys? Let's see. We have some people pop in here. What's up, Chris? Chris will be on the stream tomorrow night, guys. Disbanded. Good to see you stopping in. You guys tell me what you think of this team real quick. So we got the idea off of Who Hames stream earlier today. He was talking about people trying a zero RB build in the Superflex. We tried it, and I think I did it pretty well. I think it actually is a pretty good team. We have Trevor Lawrence, Matthew Stafford, Daniel Jones. Cousins, we grabbed as a fourth quarterback because he fell all the way to 226. The running back room is weak. Warren, Ramondre, Blue, Roshan, Dowdle, Giddens, and Lloyd. We tried to attack it with volume, but we make up for it, I feel like, a receiver with JJ, Puka, Hill, Hunter, Flowers, and then we threw Tutu on there just as a stack. Tight end room, Hawkinson, Strange, and Arroyo. I think I kind of like it. I think I got enough running backs between Warren and Ramondre. Blue will be out there running around a little bit. Hopefully hit some explosive plays here and there. I think Roshan could very well be the Montgomery Light of the Bears offense. And then we got, backups. Rico, Giddens, Lloyd. I don't know. Kind of like it. Catch up on some chat with you guys real quick, and then I think that we're going to get out of here and call it a night. I got a busy day tomorrow. Where do we leave off at? Mark said we are going to need a Penix. That's when we started looking. He was awful last year. Appreciate the review. I was going to take, oh, yeah, I think we already saw that. Sorry. I heard one analyst say he will start week 9. I've been saying that all summer. Milrow might be another one of those players where the opportunity is better than the skill. Yeah, exactly. That's what I was saying earlier. We're not drafting him because he can throw the ball. We're drafting him because Seattle's not going to be good, and they're going to fully want to see what he can do, and they're going to let the kid just go out there and play, make some throws, run around a lot. The team that gets him has to eat $35 million in 26 if they cut him. Saw these guys already. Falcons would trade him for 7th. That contract is awful. Falcons might be ones adding the 7th. Yeah. If Fantasy Dog took a running back instead of the third quarterback in rounds 2 or 3, that team would look a lot better. Milrow is always there late as your third quarterback. I know me and you agree, but he seemed dead set on taking those 3 quarterbacks, and I still think the team could have worked. Like, I really was liking the team. He had 3 quarterbacks I liked a lot. I think those couple little swaps that we were talking about just to add in some running back depth. His team was one of the few builds that I probably would not have taken Milrow on, and you guys know I take Milrow a lot. Appreciate you, my dude. Agree, but Dak was too tempting to pass on. Yeah, no, I was okay. I liked those 3 running backs. I mean, those 3 quarterbacks. Anyways, guys, I'm gonna get out of here. It's getting late. I need to get to bed so I can be my number one job, which is being a dad for these three girls, lead them down the right path, have some fun with them, all that good stuff. We will be back on tomorrow night, though. Chris the Candyman will be here with us. We'll start with a BBM. We'll see if he has a second one in him. Have a good night. Talk to y'all later.